All right, Griz Nation, we are back. This is the Fight on Montana podcast coming at you. We've got a great pod for you guys. We will be talking the Portland State win and then also the Brawl game that's coming up this week. But before we get into that, we want to give some sports that don't get a lot of attention, some of the attention here. Volleyball. If you have not heard, volleyball had a great weekend. They have been on a kind of a tear since we talked last, guys. They have beat Eastern Washington and Idaho when we talked last,
Nice.
but they had wins against Sac State at home, a 3-2 win there, and then they beat Portland State 3-0 in Delberg Arena. So they have won 4 matches in a row, going into their last game on Friday in Bozeman. At 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. I do not know. I don't have the standings. They are 5-10 in the Big Sky. So I'll get those the standings. I don't think they're going to be able to make the Big Sky Conference tournament.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
They wouldn't, but they've been rolling off wins, and if they beat the Cats, there's a possibility because it's not like they just cut it in half. They take like the top 2/3 almost or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to hear the standings here.
This little run here, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, like you said, exactly where they're sitting.
Yeah. Well, and then they're here. It's slowly coming. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 schools that play volleyball. We are second to last. Idaho is dead last. They have not won a conference game at all. But we are, one game away from going from 9th to 6th. So, and I think they do take 6 or 7 teams, maybe even 8 teams.
I think it's 8. I want to say it's 8 that they take.
Yeah. So basically, guys, the other team down in Bozeman is 6-9, and we're 5-10.
Yeah.
Basically, it comes down to this game.
Yeah. If we beat them, and holy cow, we're in it, I think.
Yeah, that would be. And I don't know because Portland State is 6-8, Northern Arizona is 5-9. I don't know what they have. They're
kind of piled up down there. If they take some L's and we get this W, I mean, all we got to do is win, and then there's a good chance.
Exactly. I was trying to see if they had the bracket up yet, but it doesn't look like they have the bracket up yet. So, but that's volleyball, guys. Just want to kind of go into that. So congrats, ladies. Let's win this last one and continue that work and going into that. So that's awesome.
Start the weekend off right with a W on Friday for the volleyball team.
Right.
That'd be awesome. Especially like if there's people. I mean, most people are probably going to go over on Friday anyways for the one of the brawl. So go catch that game and watch the ladies start the weekend off right.
Yep. And so Maddie Kramer also got Player of the Week for volleyball. So Big Sky Player of the Week for that. And then there's also football. We'll get to football when we get there. But the Griz men's basketball are playing right now against Utah State, but they added a freshman, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year down in, I believe, New Mexico. Which is really cool. So he's a descent of a tribe down there. I'm trying to figure out which tribe it is. But he is 6'7".
Holy
power forward. DeCure says he's got a potential of contributing right away. He's got really big size. He's tough. He's really skilled. Volcano Vista High School.
Huh.
He's ranked number 257 in the whole country. He led his team to 29-1 overall record in a state title. 22 points and 11 rebounds a game.
Wow.
47% from 3-point range. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's really crazy. So he's a member of the, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, guys, Winiga Native American tribe.
Huh, that's cool.
So yeah. So.
And you said 6'9"?
6'7".
6'7". Okay. Still, that's still super tall. So.
Yeah, which was really cool. He also puts in here that he volunteers at the Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network, Buddy Walk, and youth basketball camps. So sounds like a really good player, really good guy. And what was really cool that they put the photo of him, but they have the Native American jersey on him, which is really cool.
That's way cool. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Those are such cool things.
I know, right? So schedule for them, guys, it's coming up here. Sorry, Go Griz is very slow tonight. They are 2-2 overall, 2 games at home. They're 0-2 away, and it's slowly coming. Like I said, it's they're playing Utah State as we speak tonight in Logan, Utah, and then they've got if you guys can't make it down to, if you guys don't have anything planned for Thanksgiving, they've got their classic in Dahlberg Arena. They'll play play Denver. Sorry, they'll play Denver. They'll play CSUN. Sorry, and then Utah Tech and Denver. So those are the teams in that. I have no clue what CSUN is. Let's see if I click on it, if it goes to them.
Well, update quick. 34 seconds left in the first. We are, unfortunately, losing to Utah State, but 47-35 at the moment.
So, that's not too bad.
Utah State's 3-0 right now. So, I mean, they're pretty good. They're favored by 16.5 in that game. So.
Oh, wow. So it looks like CSUN is in the Pac West.
Oh.
With Cal Poly, UC Davis, all those California teams in Hawaii.
Gotcha.
I still don't know. It looks like their mascot's a matador.
Huh.
But it doesn't tell me anything on what the actual school name is. Oh, California State University. California State University Northridge.
Oh.
So that's who they're going to be playing in that tournament. So, if you guys don't have anything going on Thanksgiving, there's going to be some basketball in Missoula. So
there you go. I got one other basketball thing I want to talk about. So this past week we went down and played Tennessee, and hung for a while with Tennessee. Yeah. Like, I actually was in Wichita, put a little money on the game, and it didn't work out in my favor. Because I built the Griz with the points and we just couldn't hold up. But
you were in Wichita for that game?
Yeah, well, I was in Wichita for work, and then
okay,
staying at a casino that was right next to it, and the game was on, and so I was like, why not? Didn't work out in my favor, but the cool thing was, Money Williams put 30 points on him.
Yeah,
and I don't know if everybody's seen this in Griz Nation, but Tennessee fans have donated thousands of dollars to Money Williams after he scored the points, and they found out that he's taking care of his younger siblings following the loss of their parents.
Yeah.
So I just think it's so cool how sports, like here we are, Montana coming to Tennessee, and these Tennessee fans step up and want to help out like that. And that's awesome. A awesome moment of how cool sports can be in that way. Yeah. Especially when you get they'd probably never, other than when we played them many years ago in football, lost, but it's like, Montana comes down, who's this? And he puts 30 points on him, and they find out of his story, and they step up and do that. So that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. It was a great story. If you guys haven't read that, there's articles all over the place about it.
Yeah.
But then if you haven't donated, if you can, guys, I don't think times are tough and everything, but if you can, definitely there's a GoFundMe that will help him and his family. So definitely go check that out. So
if you have the means, please do so.
Women's basketball, man. Have you heard about this one? Lady Griz. They played Washington.
Washington. I did hear about that. Sorry.
Beat them by 14 points.
Yeah. In Missoula. That was when we were talking. We're like, what are they doing coming to Missoula? And then, I was watching that on my phone and was just like, you got to be kidding me.
And I told you, I was like, if they beat them, that's probably going to be the last time they come here.
You're right. So, Washington's done with Montana.
Yeah.
After the football team beat them in UW, and then we come here, and then we beat them here at home, and they're just not going to play us in any sports anymore, probably.
Well, then the men beat them too in basketball.
Yeah,
a couple years.
They're going to be done with us.
Welcome to the Big Ten. They will have a game this Thursday in Grand Forks. You're playing North Dakota, so that will be on the Summit League network. So they will not be on ESPN Plus. And I do not think their next game against Minnesota won't be on ESPN Plus. It'll be on the Big Ten network as well. They'll play Sunday in Minneapolis. So, that's women's basketball. They've got some big games coming up. North Dakota, Minnesota, Evergreen State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and that Big Sky Conference Summit League, and then they'll play Michigan State. So, in a West Palm Beach Classic. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So basketball is going. Volleyball's closing up, guys. You've got this kind of like playoff fever kind of happening as well, because we've got Griz football happening. This week the Griz go, and they didn't look too great in the beginning of the game. Halftime was 3-0.
Defense did okay, but the
defense did a great job. They really stood up to how they played in the beginning of the year and did great. And then that second half was great to see them come back how they did and win 28-17. So
yeah, absolutely.
But I was just going to go over some of the stats here, guys. Man alive, this thing is just crazy slow tonight.
I think Neigbors.com is always slow. Like, no matter
my goodness
where you're at, it's always slow.
It's crazy. So total first downs were the same, 23-23.
Oh wow.
We were a little bit more balanced. We were 11 rushing, 10 passing. They were 13 rushing, 7 passing. And then both of us got like 2 or 3 penalty first downs. Rushing yards, we had 199 and they had 213 rushing yards. Passing yards, we had 247 and they had 188, which their average was a little bit longer because I think they were kind of going and playing off that play action as well.
Right.
Total offense, guys, we had 446, they had 401. What's really kind of interesting is we only had 58 plays though. And they had 68. They had actually 10 more plays than us. And we outgained them by 40-some yards.
I didn't realize it was that much that they had 10 more plays than us.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, and like the possession too. Possession time was 38 minutes for them, 21 for us. So they did try to pull like an Idaho.
Yeah. Well, we scored fast too. Like that one pass to Racanelli, that was a quick score. Fight to Racanelli. And side note too, if you notice, Racanelli didn't come out for senior day because he will be back next year. So that's we'd kind of been hearing that, and it's been confirmed he will be back. So that's awesome news that we're just because we're going to be losing some people.
Yeah, you definitely want a veteran person there.
Yeah, and so it's nice to have some veterans, even though we got some really good young guys coming up too.
Exactly. And punting, we didn't do as well punting. Our average was 39. Their average was 47.5. So definitely need to see that a little bit better going into this next game. Punt total yard average, that can't be right. It both said 0.
They must have missed the stat or something.
Yeah. Because our kickoff average was 22. Theirs was return and theirs was 22.6, a little bit better than us.
Drew Deck was doing a lot of returning. He's looking good back there.
He is. And I think we had that one that was a big return that got called back as well, which was a bogus call because I'm like, that guy would have never have been able to get him and to call that when he was way on the other side of the field. Like, it's like, really?
Yeah, it just some of these. Well, we've seen it all year, and not just us. It's every when Adam and I are watching other games. You see how poor the officiating is there too, and it's just you shake your head. You're just like, come on.
Yeah. Then the big stat, right? 3 interceptions, 40 total return yards on those. They had 1 on their side, so definitely won the takeover side of the ball. So,
Switch getting the 2.
Exactly right.
So he got Big Sky Player of the Week.
Exactly, and that's our Big Sky Player of the Week is Jace Klusewicz.
Yeah.
Third down conversion. They were 5 of 10. We were 4 of 10. Both of us were 100% and fourth down, 1 of 1 for them and 2 of 2 for us. Identical red zone scores, 2 of 4 and 2 of 4. They had 2 sacks. We had 1 sack. And then field goals, they were 1 for 1.
Gosh, we only have 1 sack. We sure were close. It felt like Sashere got out of there, but there was times when I thought for sure we were going to get some more. Harris just keeps getting better. Like, he's one that I wish would come back. I've been hearing some rumors that he could apply for another year and stuff. And
Hayden, really?
Yeah, like that he has it for a year if he applied for it, could possibly get it. I don't think he's gonna.
Yeah,
but, man, he's just constantly. He's one player I feel like this year, every game he's getting better and better and better, and just understanding the position and just being more of a force out there on defense.
Yeah. So let's go into some of the individual stats. Fife, Ayat played that first half. I really felt bad for him because there was a lot of catches that could have been caught by the wide receivers that did not happen.
Yeah.
Which that kills his stats. Yeah. So it looks like he's 7 of 13 for 50 yards and 1 interception, and 1 sack. A couple of those were big plays. Fonts dropped 2. I know Recanelli dropped 1.
Yeah.
So that would have changed his stats, I think, pretty drastically. He came up with a bum ankle.
Yeah, it almost looked like a high ankle sprain a little bit.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
I do too.
I saw that he posted some pictures after the game and stuff with his family, and he's smiling and stuff. So hopefully it's not too bad. We don't want to see any of our players get hurt. So
exactly. So when Ayad got hurt, Fife went in 9 of 14. His first play was a sack.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh no, this is not good. And then he kind of calmed down, kind of ish, and we'll get into that. 9 of 14, 197 yards, 3 touchdowns. The big pass to Recanelli, which was nice, 81 yards. But man, Gilman, and I thought Gilman had a quiet game, like compared to some of his other ones where,
Well, I think some of the other ones he gets those really big runs, like bust these big ones and stuff.
Well, and then I look back at the yardage and I'm like, oh crap, he had 134 yards.
Yeah, I thought he had over 100. Like he had a quiet, good game.
Yeah,
really, he just kept getting yards for us.
Yeah. So. 134. His long was 45. Nick had 9 carries for 50 yards. And so really good there. Receiving, Recanelli, with his long one, definitely had the game. 4 receptions, 102 yards. Fonts had a great game as well. Really stepped up for Keelan White's absence.
It's funny, how Fonts, when he drops a couple, then he won't drop any.
No,
it's wild how that works.
Well, let's have him do that in warm-ups so that he doesn't miss any in the game. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
That's it. I like that plan.
Yeah. So he had 6 receptions, 90 yards, and 1 touchdown. Man, Bergen just seems a little off.
Well, I think, we saw Dak more. I think he's got he's dealing with something,
Yeah, I think it's his hamstring that he's still
I feel like we want to use him because he's so good and has such good hands and stuff, and he's still at like, let's say 70%. He's still better than a lot of Big Sky receivers out there.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to put him on the field just because he's still so good.
Yeah. So that was the offensive side of the ball. What did you see? Which, the missed catches that was kind of alarming to me. I just really feel like at the beginning of the game that the carries of running the ball kind of seemed kind of alarming, and then Gilman kind of reiterated that in the second half, where I think a lot of his yardage came. I don't think we were getting the push either on their line.
No, not as much. It just felt like. Well, another thing, you were talking about that time of possession. Does it show what it was for the first half? By chance?
Let me see here.
Per team, because it like, I don't know, that first half felt like it went pretty quick to me.
Yeah. Too. Oh, it went really quick.
Like it was just like,
yeah,
okay, that's over. What the heck? Like it's still 3-0 here. Yeah, I just felt like we just, defense was doing well, stopping things and kind of bend but don't break, and then they'd make a play and and shutting Sastre down, because I was worried about Sastre coming into this game. And, he obviously played better in the second half, but that first half, it was just like, just couldn't get things going,
Yeah.
And
so I counted it up on the drive chart.
Yeah.
And it was this is just like, it was a little over 10 minutes in the first half.
For us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they had the ball quite a bit. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. So that in the second half, though, it wasn't that great of a difference, though. It was like a little over.
It's different when we're scoring faster like that, but
yeah,
it definitely felt like they'd have longer drives and we just 3 and out, give the ball back. Yeah. It's just like, like you said, with the drops and it just felt like we were off and we weren't getting things going. And, and that's always, I think, a worry too. Like I was starting to worry. I'm like, oh my God, are we thinking about the brawl? Like, are we thinking ahead here? Because that worries me. You get those kind of trap games, if you will. And so the second half rolls around and, we get a little fire under our belts, and all of a sudden the whole team starts playing a little harder, it seems like, and making plays and doing stuff. So,
well, and Ayat's pass, right, his interception that he threw,
he was throwing off his back foot and everything.
Back foot, trying to get away from the pressure, trying to get away from the blitz, threw it, and then it was like tipped, right? And then it was intercepted,
it's one of those, I mean, he should have just almost thrown it. The thing with that is, like, he's trying so hard to make it.
Oh, yeah. And he's learning too. Like, you know that he was probably told, do not take a sack, get out of there, throw it away. Well, he tried to get out of there, threw it away off his back foot, didn't get it.
Well, and that tip, I know they picked it. Like, I thought at first, like, the guy came down with his knee out of bounds. And I was like, okay, we're good. And well, he did, but his other knee was in bounds. I was like, shoot. Yeah. But it was hard to tell at first on TV. I was like, man, I think he's out of bounds. But no, but it's just one of those tip drill, like, most of the times that would be incomplete. And it just, too bad.
One thing that alarmed me too was the missed tackles and arm tackles that were happening. And then just the amount of push their offensive line, Portland State's, and their running backs. Their running backs were good.
Yeah.
But they were getting massive amounts of chunks of
I was surprised how much they were running their running backs over Sastre. Like, we thought that was going to happen, and they were really handing the ball off, but they were. And I think that almost threw us, that we weren't ready for that, because I think we were gearing up too. Like, it's all going to be Sastre, and then they were handing the ball off, and they did a lot of misdirection, like we thought, which threw us off a bit. But then, if you notice, guys started doing their job, and like you see Wilson tackling the guy who didn't have the ball. That was his job. You tackle him, then the next guy will tackle his guy, and so that's that's how you stop that kind of almost triple option-y look that they were doing. So.
Well, and it was interesting too, because Riley said on the radio that Portland State, they had to redo their line for this game.
Oh, really?
Two of their offensive linemen are freshmen, and they wanted to keep their red shirt. And so they basically said they weren't playing this game, and they had to switch their line around so that they could
I had
not lose. Yeah, and Riley said that on the radio, which was awesome to hear. But even like that, it was like alarming to me too, because I'm like, holy crap! Like they changed their line around for this game. It didn't look like it.
Yeah, it didn't look like it at all. And Portland's been doing that all year. Like we heard about how they changed their defense in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, the Steve Anderson, we're gonna throw it out. We're doing something, and like the fact that those players can do that, and they've gotten better throughout.
They have, and they're young.
Yeah, like I think Portland State's gonna be an up and comer in the next few years. They've got some talented players, and like they're, trying, and they could be. They've always been that team that's doesn't quite make it over the edge, but there's that always messes people's seasons up and stuff at times, and does things like that. So
they're running backs. That Quincy Craig was really fast.
Yeah.
But that Delon Thompson that we talked about last podcast, 22 carries, 117.
Yeah, he was good. Hard to tackle too. Like it was.
Yeah, both of them were averaging over five yards.
As they were doing that, I was just like, "Come on, Ben, but don't break." So, but that was just it. Like, and then they'd make a mistake, and we'd take advantage of it by turnovers and other things. So
what did you see in the second half?
Well, I guess
other than the big fiery sideline
show. Whenever we want to talk about that, we can. But I think that was what partially made the difference. Like I think
so too.
I think so you get Fife, he goes down, scores, and then you couldn't see what the penalty was from.
No,
so something happened, but ESPN
Riley said he threw the ball in the air.
Okay.
So when he got up, he threw it up in the air. Which isn't that kind of just like a spike though?
Yeah, and I mean it depends. That's one of those judgment calls by the refs.
Yeah,
and they're always looking to throw something at us.
Yeah,
and so I mean, like Bobby was pissed because here we're trying to, we're down, and you're excited, but you're supposed to be the leader of the team, and he throws the ball up in the air, and they're going at each other, but But he didn't take anything off of Bobby, and then right back at him, and they're showing, and and obviously if you see later on, they make up. Like Marty did a great job of calling that on what was going on. Like he didn't at all like this is bad. He's like, no, this is good. Like you could tell he thought it was good, and then they make up, but at the same time, like it gave Fife that fire. I think, like, and it showed like I felt like all of a sudden, okay, here's our leader. Here's our leader of the team. Like both him and Bobby are super competitive, want to win. And so, they're going after each other a little bit, but also can make up and keep going. And look what he did after. I mean, he just played lights out after that, was doing really well. So,
yeah. Well, and one thing I think that this was going to happen. Like there was only like these quarterbacks were probably frustrated going into this whole season. This was going to either spill out in a good way or spill out in a positive way,
right?
Or a bad way or a good way. At least this way you were able to kind of regain something out of it. But at the same time, like, and this is just like, okay, so each of one of these players has showed that, like, how wants to see that attitude, right?
Right.
Well, both of them have showed that during the year in games.
A little bit.
So it doesn't make any sense to me, like why.
Well, okay.
Why, if these players are showing you that during the year, is it something you want to see more of? Is it something that, like, what is it?
So I think that they showed a little bit, but neither one of them like came and just wanted to like take over. Like, this is my team.
Yeah.
And so for example, we heard about Snead. He did it at practice before the season even started. Like they didn't call a starter. He just grabbed the ball and was like, no, I'm the guy. And like the team and just went for it. And then last year there was that moment when Clifton had that one big run, and he was just like, he was fired up and like was rallying the team behind him. And you could, that was at that point on, he was the guy.
Yeah.
And so there's been times when you see that from my yacht a little bit and a little bit from Fife, but it almost is like they're both timid about like just taking the job themselves and hanging back. And what I saw there was Fife going, all right, this is my freaking job. Like I'm the guy, like, and I should be the guy. And with that fire and stuff, he showed Bobby that. So I made some notes that I didn't want to forget about this. Cause I was thinking about like listen to Fife after the press conference afterwards. That was really good too. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it, because they both talk about it. Like, and I was surprised. Bobby's like, no one's going to ask us about this. Like,
I thought it was funny.
Like, oh, I'm sure the press was like, we'd like to, but are you going to kill us if we No, he wanted to talk about it. And they talked about how they're both competitors and stuff. But like, the more I've been thinking about it, and to your point with Fife throughout the year, like you see his fire and stuff and but this back and forth, but we really saw his fire here. And then I started thinking about like how he paints his face. It's not like your typical quarterback. Like he paints his face like he plays middle linebacker.
Yeah.
And like that fire I saw, like it's like he plays middle linebacker or something. And so like I feel like he has the mentality of like a defensive linebacker. Fife does. Like the face paint reminds me of Latimer from the program, if you remember.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great movie. I need to watch that again.
Great movie. And so, oh my gosh. I usually start the football season off by watching that movie because it's just a classic for me. Yeah. But like I think that whole swagger that he can bring is the stuff we need, especially going into this next game. Yeah. Like I think Bobby's waiting for that. And like in the presser afterwards, he says that he's like, I know what to do to fire you up before the game now. Like he was just waiting for that moment. And I feel like we had that moment. You saw teammates and stuff like on the sidelines rallying around him between him and Houck and stuff. And I think that sometimes you need to have that moment that can force you forward. And like all of a sudden you're the leader now, you know, this one moment. And to me, that's what that moment felt like. And I think I'm like, it's about freaking time. Like you hear the phrase iron sharpens iron. Well, it's the truth. And that's kind of what happened there. And now, you know, I really think that we're going to come out this week, and even if Ayat is totally healthy, I think we're going to come out against the Brawl with Fife starting, and he's going to play that whole game. I
would truly hope so.
That's what I think.
Because if not, then I do not know what is going on.
If not, I'd throw my hands in the air and just be like, oh my God.
What in the world are you guys doing?
It's like you got as a coach, you got to rally behind that. Look what just happened. You had this significant moment that helped rally the team and everybody and show that he's the leader of this offense. He's the leader. In fact, I felt that was the moment showing I'm the leader of this whole damn team. Yeah. And we need that person for everybody to go to. And I feel like that's what happened. And that's why, like, you hear people, and this has been bothering the hell out of me, people talking about, oh, what if Fife transfers? He ain't transferring. He's got 1 year left. Like, I don't see him transferring at all. I think that now after this, and we have a lot of season left, he doesn't feel like that type of guy. He came here because he wants to play, and I think it's been bothering him that he's been having to share these snaps. Well, I think what Bobby's been waiting for is like, come take it. You want the job? Come take it. Well, I think he finally did that, and that's what Bobby's been looking for. Which it sucks that you have to push a kid like so hard to get him to do that. Like if that was his whole plan, wait till like the last 2 games to make him take over, but and push it. But hey, like I don't know, I'm feeling so much better about that and having him be like the leader of the team now.
It literally reminded me of Miracle.
Oh yeah, someone posted that. So I was commenting a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and someone posted that under one of the Miracle.
When he was saying, you know, you're hurt. What? You're not hurt. It's a long way from the heart. And the guy's like, "Oh, you want me to play hard? You want me?" He's like, "That'll do it."
That'll do it.
That was exactly like that. Like it was. When Houck goes out on the field and starts yelling, and then he goes back, and you can see Fife kind of say, "Yeah, whatever," and then he must have said something else, and then he's like, "No, I'm not going to put up with this. This is I'm done," and then he like went after him. I think it rose some fire. I think it was something that we needed. We all needed, and if you are watching that and you're saying. It was blown out of proportion where, all the headlines were saying, "Oh, he had to be restrained." So he did not get restrained.
the comments afterwards during the game, Marty did an awesome job of explaining every piece of it, and it wasn't blown out of proportion.
No,
they're blown out of proportion. A lot of people that weren't watching or they were just at the game and missed it, and then saw those stupid headlines that are just yes. Yeah. So
like you're gonna have like one of my favorite coaches is Tom Izzo, Michigan State.
Yeah.
One of the last probably in 2021, he had a player that he got on, and there's a delicate kind of way that you have to handle those kind of coaches. It can be really constructive, and you have to have a player that can really take that.
Yeah.
But you also have to have a coach that really cares about their players.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom Izzo is like that. Like he is downright just loves his players. And so people don't get to see both sides of that, right? Yeah. You don't get to see, and especially Bobby, like you don't see that at all because he doesn't want you to see that.
Yeah.
And so he lets you see what he wants to be seen. And so you would have to actually talk to the players and say, hey, how is he? Right? Is he just chew your ass and then that's all he does, or is he actually care about you and is this is constructive criticism? And so I would really really kind of walk gently on kind of going on and saying this is horrible. How could he act that way? Because it happens a lot.
Yeah, it's not at all. In fact, I would call it more in that whole, if you've ever heard of radical candor, that means, and what that is it's care deeply but challenge directly.
Yeah.
And same thing that you saw, like you said, in the Miracle movie. And some players won't tell. Like I remember telling a coach once, I'm like, I get motivated if you yell at me and tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
It will motivate my ass, and I will want to prove you wrong.
I'll prove you wrong. Yep.
It's like, tell me I can't do it, and then I'll go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And yell at me and tell me I suck. And like that motivates me. Now, another player, like that motivated me very well. You do another player that might demilitarize. I mean, they might be humiliated and be like, yeah, I guess I do suck. Like, so you have to find, and as a coach, you have to be that chameleon to figure out each person's button and how to get them to do that. And like, that's why I think the best coaches and the best leaders practice that radical candor where they care deeply, but challenge directly. Like I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm going to challenge you to get the best out of you. And I feel like that's what happened. Like he pushed because he knew he could push that far. Like, again, go back to Miracle. Like, why'd you push those guys far? Because I knew I could. You knew you could do it. It's just like, that's where we're getting to that. Sometimes with recruiting, people are like, why are we recruiting these guys? It's not necessarily the best players, it's the right players.
It's the right players. Yep.
And I think I truly felt after that, and then seeing the post-game press conference and just the way he played, like I'm like, we have our leader. We finally have a leader on the team, and which excites me. Like, I'll tell you, before this whole interaction happened, my score, and we'll get to that later, for the game was a little different. It has changed because I feel like we have a leader in the locker room, and with this fiery passion, like all of a sudden, in this whole, we got nothing to lose this next weekend. It changed my mindset on what could happen this next weekend. So we'll get to that later, but that's I mean, and so
I've been going back and forth on it all day.
And I didn't check this, but after that interaction, didn't Fife go like 11 for 11 after that? Like, I think that was like
it was like 10 for 10 or something like that. Yeah. He didn't miss a pass.
And then all of a sudden, like, it felt like the whole team was playing like fiery and like with that edge and that swagger. Yeah. And if you remember a few years ago, there was a couple games where Houck was getting sideline penalties because he was going after the refs, because it took that to get the team fired up. Remember, the defense was all fired up, out there just giving it to him, or taking a penalty. Because you got to find whatever that switch is that you can flip it for your team. You got to find it and flip it.
Yeah. Well, any last thoughts on that Portland State win?
Thank God we won. Like, like that was the big thing too. Like, getting that win, like you get the monkey off your back, if you will, because now we are going to have a home playoff game. Like, we're getting in the playoffs. We'll have a home playoff game, because even if we don't get a bye, we'll get a home playoff game because of the fact that will outbid everybody for that first round, because that's still if you're in the first round without being seeded, it's still that.
If you're not seeded, if you're seeded, you get it.
So now that's all off. That's fine. We have now, because of that win, we're good. We have nothing to lose, and we can really jack some stuff up for the Cats if we go in there and take care of it. So
let's get into that at the end. We can go over some type of playoff scenarios, because there's been a wide variety of where we could be.
And I saw one Haley put out today, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that. It looked good for us."
Yeah. And then Sam Herder has one. There's been a couple other ones. I know the FCS Fans Nation Network did a mock draft.
Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't see that
last night. So definitely go check that out on YouTube, guys. And they did all the KPI and all that stuff, and so it was really, really good. Definitely go check that on YouTube. But Montana State, the Kitties, right? They're our next opponent.
123rd Brawl of the Wild.
123rd. That's a lot of times. A little bit about them, guys. They finally played somebody.
Yeah.
Right? They finally played somebody.
The question is, they've been kind of – we thought at the beginning of the season, I'll admit it, I thought our schedule was this is not going to be that bad. And then, we played.
I thought it was a whole lot harder than the Cats. Sorry, but I thought.
Well, no, but I mean, I still thought ours wasn't that bad this year going into it. Then it was ranked team after ranked team after ranked team.
Yeah.
And they hadn't. They'd played Idaho, who was just injured behind injured, and they're just, as our friend Mike Nugent would put it, frauds. But and then they played Davis, and Davis was good, but watching that game, they got lucky in a few spots too, and there's stuff that we can work with. And then Davis coming back it was a wild game. I knew that the score, the outcome, and I was just like, holy cow, watching this, just the back and forth at the end. You were texting me. I was
like at the end of the game. I'm like, are you watching this? He's like, I saw the score. I'm like, no, it's actually this.
Yeah, because I thought it was 30-15 or something still, and you're like, no, it's 30-20. I'm like, what is going on? So, yeah, pretty wild. But they're good. The Cats. I was telling Adam before we got on here, the first time I watched the Cats was against New Mexico, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're not that good.
And that's their first game. They won barely.
Yeah, they should have lost that game.
Yeah, 35-31, an FBS school down in New Mexico.
So, I mean, those two drop passes don't happen. New Mexico wins.
Yeah.
But after Washington Davis, they're good.
The
Cats are really good.
Yeah, so they play Utah Tech after that New Mexico game, 31-7. Down in St. George, play Maine in their Gold Rush, whatever thing they call it, 41-24. They play Mercyhurst, which I've never even heard of Mercyhurst.
I'd heard of them, but they're not very good. They don't have a logo on CBS Sports.
Yeah, 52-13. And then they got a Big Sky school, Idaho State, 37-17. Northern Colorado, 55-17. And then, this one that they had on whatever, ESPN2 or whatever, which Idaho is going in with their third or fourth quarterback,
right?
38-7, which I still don't know how Idaho is ranked higher than us, but that's beside the point. It's ridiculous. They play Portland State, 44-14. Eastern Washington, they were tied in that game in, I think, the middle of the third quarter. They pull that one out 42-28. They play a Sac State team, which I just feel really bad for Sac State. My goodness.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for them.
Man, 49-7. So you guys, you look at that schedule. I'm not seeing outside Eastern Washington. Was there any doubt in those games? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not at all. So
and you kind of saw it in that last game. They were up 30-8, middle of the way of the third quarter. They start coming back. The fourth quarter, when UC Davis finds something, which I think we can use, and they start scoring on them. They get it on onside kick.
And they get the first one.
recover
it. It's oh my gosh.
I was like jumping up and down. I'm like, did you see that? And my wife's like, yeah, I saw it. I'm watching the same game. And so, yeah, it's going to be, they're a good team. They've gotten better throughout the year. I'll be the big enough person to kind of say that and say they've gotten better. Points per game, guys. They're
good. Yeah. They're a good football team.
They're 41 points per game, and they're allowing 17 for their opponents. They've got a quick defense.
Yeah.
First downs, a lot of their first downs are rushing, doubled, right? Are rushing first downs. Rushing yards a game, guys, they're at 316.6. They're limiting their opponents to 104 yards on the ground. Passing is a little bit up this year, I believe, because they've been a little bit more consistent and a little bit more accurate. Tommy has been a little bit more accurate. They're passing at 185 yards a game, and their opponents are at 187. Total offense is ridiculous. They're at over 500 yards a game, allowing opponents 291.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Kickoff average is about 17. They're allowing opponents 19, and then their punt average is about 14, and they're allowing 4 for their opponents. Interceptions, I had to look at twice at this interception average. They're at negative 0.25.
Negative, huh?
I don't get why they've had 8 interceptions. I don't get that number, but hey, I could be.
They've had 8 all years. What you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see here. Going down to penalties, they're about 51 yards a game for penalties. Time of possession, they're at 33, a little over 33 minutes. This is the big thing. Third down conversion, guys, they're at 55, a little over 55% on third down.
Holy cow, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And 50% on fourth.
That's good. Yeah. Good. Like I said, they got a good football team.
Yeah. They've had 24 sacks this year.
24 sacks. Well, that's that. How many does what is it? Brody
Greavy. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
Greavy.
Yeah.
I'm sure he used to be there. Like I saw there 2 deep, and they just call him Rush. Like that's all his position is the rush position.
Yeah.
He's I think he's probably their best defensive player. Like he's really good. He's been good for years. He's going to be a problem, and we're going to have to make sure we take care of this weekend. So, or just do our best to slow him down.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I kind of wrote down here, guys, is the big plays. Either it be passing or the huge run, right, that they kind of throw out there. Let's talk about their running game.
Yeah.
It's kind of a 3-headed
well, that
3 plus 4.
That 22 is it Humphrey?
Yeah, Scottrey Humphrey is their leading back.
He runs really hard. Like that's how it's just like, man, that guy runs hard. Like, and that's the one who worries me, because if we don't tackle him,
he's gone.
That's big. He's big play guy. Like he's gonzo. So
he's got 165 carries for 1,221 yards.
Wow.
And 13 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Julius Davis, their other back, kind of it was weird because it's going to be interesting because Scottrey Humphrey did not play in that second half.
He didn't?
No,
I guess because they had Adam Jones running the ball a lot more.
They had Adam Jones, and then they had Julius Davis running it. Yeah. And so Julius Davis just came back, I believe, from injury, and so he's had 33 carries for 188, which he got a lot of the carries in that second half against UC Davis with Adam Jones.
Yeah.
Adam Jones is their second leading rusher at 100 carries and 731 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then you got Malott, 62 carries, which is a whole lot less than last year.
Right.
590 yards, but he's got 10 touchdowns.
I think they're trying to save him, especially when you got Humphrey and Jones back there. So
and Humphrey is the running, like the really fast, and the Davis is just that bruiser, right?
Yeah.
So Malott has been a whole lot more accurate. I think the accuracy, he's at 69.61, which is pretty high. I think they had him and Hastings. If I saw the graphic right, really, really close percentage wise with completions. He's 142 of 204 with 1 interception this year, guys. He's had 21 touchdowns. So 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he's averaging about 169 on passing this year, guys. Receiving, they've got a couple of different guys that kind of got my attention. That Rohan Jones, number 8, he was a bigger wide receiver, it looked like. 25 receptions, 410 yards. They've got the Ty McCullough. I think he played at Colorado State. He's had 28 catches for 374 and 4 touchdowns. And then they've got Taco Dollar, whatever his name is, 23 catches for 330 yards and 6 touchdowns. And so it really is limiting those big plays, right? Oh, Luke's gone.
I'm back.
All right.
Sorry. I was trying to text you and everything else. I was like, oh boy. I had to run real quick. So
where did I leave off?
I heard you talking about Taco Dollar. So
yeah, I just kind of went over their numbers.
The thing that worries me about Taco is like that punt return. This drove me nuts.
Yeah.
In the Davis game, he runs one back. And like I really, when we played Davis, we'd get one to run back. And we never did. And so like I was just like, son of a like the Cats did things against Davis that I thought we'd be able to do. And that bothered me. But he's one.
Well, and that's what I kind of mentioned before we had to pause, is those big plays, right?
Yeah.
We gotta limit those big plays either by run or by pass.
Well, and if we can limit those and like just get if we can get a return from Bergen or do something to get some type of big play to get the momentum in our direction, like that's the thing with these brawl games too. Like lately, as everybody knows, it's the home team that's been killing it.
Yep.
And what happens is the momentum just gets swung, and that home team has just gone on it, and that's it. Like it hasn't done anything different. So I don't know. It feels different to me this year, though. Because like in the last few years, it's like we're both fighting right there. And it's like, okay, who's going to get the playoff spot? Who's going to win the Big Sky? Things like this. We're in it this year with nothing to lose. Like, we are definitely the underdog. Like, everything's on the Cats' shoulders to like have this undefeated season in the Big Sky. I mean, like for them and their fans, that's the biggest thing ever. If they could go 12-0 in the Big Sky Conference and beat their rivals and, trot on into the playoffs with this number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Where we can take our most hated rival, Neighbors, and screw everything up for them. Like, go in, beat them. They're not going to get the number 2 seed. They win the Big Sky still, but they have this beat everybody but the Griz. Like, there's so many cool things if we could pull this off, and it's going to take everything we got in a full 4 quarters of us playing football to beat them. But if that was to happen, man, it would just, it would, they had their stupid miracle or whatever in Missoula. This would be the opposite. And the thing is like, I was going back a few years ago. You go back to 2011.
Yep.
2011, the Cats have the number 1 offense in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
They are the number one team in the country. We walk into Bozeman and beat them 36-10.
Yep.
And in that game, nobody gave us a shot. Like, it was like, no, the Cats, they're the best team in the country. Like, they were going to win the national championship. I think that was good old Rob Ash years. And we walked in and held them like 250 yards and beat them 36-10.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Well,
now, it's a lot better than that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last 10 years, it's 5-5, right? Since 2013, it's 5-5. You kind of look at it, the past, like we said, the last 4 years, the home team has won.
By quite a bit. I mean, like last year, we beat them 37-7. I didn't see that coming.
The previous year, it was 55-21.
No, that was rough.
Previous year with that was 29-10. And then a little bit more blowout ones, 48-14. But other than those last 4 games, they've been by no more than 8 points.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. You're going to be – I feel like if you watch this game early and see how things go, you're going to be able to see – what that's going to look like.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, like what Davis did, they came back at the end.
Yeah.
It's looking at them, Tommy is really good.
Yeah.
And like the only thing that like affects him is if he has to pass and you can get pressure on him.
Yep.
That's good. So like I think the key is if we can shut down their run game. Like if we can slow their run game down and the QB run and make him more one-dimensional, that's going to be huge for us.
Yeah.
They
do a lot of short out passes, slants and stuff too, and short passes to their wide receivers. Kind of look out for that as well.
Yep.
They like to run up the middle a lot.
Yeah, they do run, but they also like to run option and stuff to try to confuse you and stuff. So, you got to stay home. I think on defense, the good thing is like I feel much better about our defense. Like they keep progressing, and that definitely makes me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah. Tackling will be key. If we can tackle, that will be great to see. If we're missing tackles, it's going to be a long game.
Well, and our corner's got to take care of that time. Leighlou.
Yeah.
He's got a big catch radius and
Yeah.
And like I just put down must shut down the run. Like we've got to try to shut down the run. Like that's what they want to do is just run the ball. And that's why I think we did so well last year and blew them out was because we just shut the run down.
Well, we made them one-dimensional and then they couldn't pass.
And so we know that that's still the thing if we can do that.
Yeah.
On their defense, some things like their defensive line puts a ton of pressure on quarterbacks.
Oh, a lot. And I wrote that down too. It's like if we can handle that pressure, we can beat them on the backside.
And use the pressure.
Yeah.
So like one thing that worked awesome for them, they were rushing so hard. They started to throw these middle screens that were huge for land. And I'm like, man, there's been some games where we got Eli involved in the passing game. Yep. I think we need to do that same thing.
Exactly.
And that could be huge, like that middle screen and stuff, and get him down the field. Or Cole Grossman over the middle too. Like if he can catch the ball and get him down the field, I mean, he's just got like I think between that and the play action and misdirection, like that could really, really benefit us, like on offense by doing that.
The only thing with I don't think we're going to be able to beat their defense to the side.
Well,
they're pretty quick.
They're quick, but if you notice, like Davis, they got some sweeps and stuff like that worked for him using some misdirection. And that's where I put like if we could get. The key is getting like X or Fonts out to the outside. They could be very productive, I think, and get some nice bigger plays down the field. So that there's things, there's chinks in that armor. Like even though they're 11-0, there are chinks in there. And like the other game I should have watched was that Eastern game because it felt like Eastern gave him for a little while some hiccups.
Yeah, exactly. it's going to come down to our offensive line and their defensive line, and vice versa, right?
And they run that 4-man front. They're like, it's just like one of the first times. It's weird saying this, but like,
that we've faced.
Front. That's like base defense 4-3 is what they're running. It's
yeah.
Which
that is like one of the first ones we've had all year where it's not a 3-3-5 or some type of
or some type of 3-4 modified defense. Like they're just running the old 4-3. So I don't know. And the other thing too, because it's this game, you just never know what we're going to get. Like I mean, like they always say, throw the record books out. I mean, like last year, I did not see us beating them 37-7. I thought it was going to be a dogfight, and we just went off. And so I mean, I'm sure the Cats are thinking the same thing, that they're going to come in and we're going to come in there. They're going to go undefeated and just beat the piss out of us.
But that's got to break sometime. Like now that people are aware of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like they think that. I could see them thinking that, and hopefully they're almost overlooking us. Like, I mean, their fans are. Their fans think we're trash. Like is. They just think that this is the greatest team that there ever was. I mean, like fans that never even went to school there in different parts of the country. Airports are coming up to me and like, we're the greatest. And I don't say I'm just like, yeah, you guys are good. Yeah. Like, and I feel like that's the attitude we got, is like, okay, just keep talking.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I'm really excited about with what happened to Fife, because I feel like we got this like fighters mentality. Let's go, that linebacker mentality. Let's go punch these guys in the face now. And I'm the leader, and I'm going to show you. Like, I'll go punch him in the face. Like, if Fife went out and got a personal foul right away, like, punched Brady Grubb, whatever his name is, in the face, not the right of the first play. It's like something not to get thrown out, but to get a penalty, our whole team would be fired up, and holy shit, like it would just. I mean, that's almost what you need, is just something to pull that fire right away and just get pissed off and wanting to, just go.
It'll be interesting to see how he plays in this game, because his first rivalry game, right? And so I think handling the pressure as well. I think that the pressure is on them, but
it's totally on them.
Being disciplined enough. We haven't seen that this year with this team.
Well,
is the discipline issue of just not getting penalties and stuff. That's going to come down in this game, because there's going to be a whole lot of things that are going to be extracurricular. You got to have your mind right.
There will, and it's not just the players, the fans. I mean, I've heard stories of the fans throwing. Like, I don't know why you do this, collecting dog poop, throwing it on our players and stuff. And I mean, they're nasty over there. Those Cat fans. They get. I mean, not all of them, but they're disgusting, and some of them are. They do just unspeakable things, and we just got to come out and do our best and run through the horse shit after they run their stupid horses on the field, and go over there and do our best to beat these guys. And there's a way to do it. Like like I said, there's chinks in that armor that we've seen. It's trying to exploit them and do everything we can. And I hope they come in so cocky that they think that the Griz are nothing this year. We got them. And I'm sure their coaching staff is like, hey, don't overlook this. Like, we need this, to secure our number 2 spot. So,
well, and that's what they're headed for, right? Is who's going to get the number 1 spot? Who's going to get the number 2 spot?
Yeah.
I think we can kind of go off of that next, but anything last?
I got one last thought of that. Davis. Yeah. Did you see that weird straight line formation thing they did? Like, Davis lines up in this like vertical perpendicular line to the line of scrimmage, and then they all out and get into formation, pause for the second, and then run the play. But I was like, what in the world is this thing?
Did you see Larson's one-handed catch?
Oh my God, that kid is so good. Like, he doesn't. Larson doesn't get Player of the Year.
Oh my gosh, that atrocity!
Yeah, an atrocity. Like, that kid's so good.
Oh my gosh, and he didn't even have to do one-handed. He just did it. Like, he could have put 2 hands up. I was just like,
did it.
Oh my gosh.
He does. Yeah, that kid's good. He's really
good. Any last thoughts on the Neighbors?
No, I mean, it's gonna be a damn battle.
Yeah.
I do think that we can do it, and I mean, I think we just got to go out there and play with every fire and fiber, and get him whatever Bobby's got to do to get the team fired up before. Like you said, if he needs to call them a bunch of candy asses and that their team thinks you're a bunch of candy asses and they're all fired up and go out there and take it, that's awesome. I mean, and side note, I believe that the team is staying in Butte the night before.
Oh, so, they are?
Yeah. Because I think the last time they went over there, stayed in Big Sky, and it was kind of a fiasco. So this year they're going to stay in Butte and then make their way over and, go kick some ass.
What happened last time?
I guess the hotel they went out and up in Big Sky, Montana, didn't work out right. And then there was other issues and stuff. Last time we traveled over there, it wasn't good. Huh. So for a while we stayed in Livingston because we won't stay in Bozeman. But then the hotel in Livingston is not available anymore. So we're staying in Butte, which I think is awesome. We'll stay in Butte.
Butte, America.
And then we'll go over and, give Tommy one last loss before his end of his senior year to the Griz. So,
man, I was thinking, what are they going to do without him?
Oh, man.
They have changed their offense to directly have him as their quarterback.
So I really don't think Vegan's going to be there next year.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think he'll be moving on to the FBS somewhere. I do. Not necessarily a head coach, but a coordinator or something.
Well, he tried to get out of it last year.
Yeah, he wants the next spot, and so I think after this year he's gone. So.
Yeah. Wow.
And then it's
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited. The Cat fans are so overconfident that the memes are flying right now, and I've been just chuckling at them. I'm just all right, just wait. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Like I said, we have nothing to lose. We're the underdogs in this, and we have everything to gain. So let's go do it. FTC.
Man. I don't want to predict.
All right. Well, you want verses? I got my prediction written down. Like I said,
I have two down. But I've got to make one.
I'll tell you right now. I was going to pick the Cats after our Davis loss and after the first half of Portland State. I was going to pick the Cats. And then after the confrontation between Bobby and Fife and seeing what Fife did and him as fire, and then listening to him after the press conference, I wish I could have been at QB Club tonight. I missed it because I'm working here in Minnesota. But it is. I had a change of heart here. Versus tried to throw me off too. So you want to hear the Versus score?
I already have what I think I'm going to go down with it. But yeah,
okay. So the Versus score has the Cats winning, which is no surprise. But they have them winning 34-21.
34-21?
Yeah. So, and I know, I don't know if we talked about this. Right now, Vegas has the Cats favored by 16.5.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, that's crazy.
So, after this, I wrote my score down before I looked at the verses.
Okay.
And I've been doing some thinking. And here's what I think what needs to happen. I think we need to score 34 points to win.
Oh, definitely.
34 points. Yeah. I think we can win. And so I have us winning 34-31.
34-31, huh?
34-31. Griz. Okay. I think we're done with the blowouts. I have a feeling this is going to be a tight battle.
Yeah.
I do. And I think if we're going to win, we got to score at least 34 points. And so 34.
Yeah. I agree with that. At the 34, I was thinking even higher for our offense. I really do think we're going to have some troubles with tackling. I really do think that's kind of glared our defense all this season. Yeah. I think
I have the 31. I don't think our defense can put points up.
And I think that our defense will be better this time. And I think it's going to be a lot closer game than that 16.5. But I have the Cats 34-28.
Gotcha.
So you guys can yell at me all you want.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to really come down to the handling of the game and then being disciplined, tackling, and I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, well, like I said, our defense has improved, and I'm hoping that this newfound leadership by Fife and Fire is the edge that we needed to be pushed over that edge.
Yeah,
to get that win, and just think about it. I'm like, okay, we pulled that win off. All of a sudden, we got a first round bye, and we're probably in the top 8.
Oh, yeah.
As far as seating somewhere.
You said 31-28, you said?
No, I said 34-31.
34-31. Okay.
The verses had Cats 34, Griz 21, and you had 34-28. So
okay. You want to go over some of the playoff scenarios?
Yeah. So, well, before we do that, I did have one other thing that I wanted to
talk go ahead.
That is part of the reason that made me pick what I wanted. And I wanted to mention this earlier, but I threw this out on Twitter and a few other places. But after seeing like what Fife and all that stuff, and then also just hearing people's comments that don't know crap about what happened or anything like that, I'm going to take this time, since we have this platform, to read this, and you can listen, everybody. So this is the man in the arena quote from Teddy Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. When I saw like Fife do that, that was the thought that popped in my head, is the man in the arena.
Yeah.
And for those that want to bash Houck and bash any player and all that stuff, like, these guys are the man in the arena, and I feel like him doing that is going to lift the team, and that's that spark that they're going to need. So anyways, that was my final thought on that, and that's why I think we're going to win.
Awesome. I like that. I like it. You get me all going, man.
No. Good.
Let's go. So guys, like the brackets, right? So if you go anywhere, there's a lot of brackets following or going around.
Yeah.
I'm on Sam Herder's right now.
Okay.
And so, I'll just go over what he has here. The top 8 seeds: NDSU would be number 1, 2 Kitties, 3 SDSU, 4 UC Davis, 5 Mercer, 6 Idaho. I think that's ridiculous. 7 would be Richmond. 8 would be Incarnate Word. That would push South Dakota, which is probably a top 4 team, at number 9. They have Rhode Island at 10, 11 SEMO, 12 Abilene Christian, and then us at 13. So what they have with that, guys, is they have us playing in the first round against Drake, with the winner going and playing UC Davis.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And then the winner of that would be either Abilene Christian or Mercer.
Huh.
And that would be, if we made it, that would be a semifinal against NDSU.
Very interesting.
Possibly.
So I'm on Craig Haley's. His is similar.
Okay.
All right. So I'll give you Haley's here. So he's got Bison 1, Cats 2, South Dakota State 3, USD 4, Davis 5, Idaho 6, which again,
why?
I don't know. UIW 7, Mercer 8. And then I'm not going to go through the other ones, but he has us as a 9 seed.
Oh.
So with that, he would have us playing New Hampshire in the first round.
Okay.
And then the winner of that playing Mercer. And then the winner of that playing North Dakota State.
Huh.
So we'd be on the same side of the bracket as North Dakota State, Mercer, Davis, and South Dakota, according to him. So the interesting thing I think about all these brackets, though, is there's finally no regional basis, bias. They're seeding 16 teams.
Yep.
So, yeah, The one that I guess I'm still thrown off, like you said, is Idaho. Like, why are they so high? I don't get that.
Well, it says here too, if a conference has 4 or more teams in the championship, the committee may allow a small seed adjustment in seeds 9 through 16 to avoid a conference having all its teams on the same side of the bracket.
Oh, sure. Well, that makes sense.
So,
that makes sense.
Okay. So you're going to probably not have all the teams, probably Big Sky teams on one side. And same with Missouri Valley, because you could have 4, you could have 5 teams from the Big Sky in the Missouri Valley.
Well, my guess is the reason they're going to have Idaho so high. Like, I was just looking at the rest of the Big Sky Conference. I think the rest of it's super easy to pick. Like, you got the brawl, but then you got Eastern Washington versus Northern Arizona. I say Northern Arizona is going to win that.
They have to.
You got Pauley versus Weber State. That's actually could be a good game. Yeah. Like, I didn't expect Weber to win, but you never know. Yeah. Northern Colorado at Portland State. Portland State should win that, hands down. Davis at Sac State. Davis is going to win the Causeway Classic, like, no problem. And then Idaho's playing Idaho State, which they should just.
They should be.
They're saying, if they're saying like they're as good as they are, they should. But Idaho State could be sneaky and beat them. If that happens, that will pull wrench and will hurt her and Haley's plans. So I don't know. Interesting.
Well, and Sam Herder has, I think it says 5 teams from the Big Sky. He has Northern Arizona in.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, playing Tarleton State.
Gotcha. Well, and then I think, what is it? So after the brawl is at 1 p.m. this weekend, by the way. Usually it's at.
Is it? I thought it was at noon.
I thought they said 1.
I thought it was at noon.
All right, let me look for sure.
That's where they're putting it on.
Normally it's at noon. That's what I thought, but then I was like, I thought I saw something that I'm going to go to the page here and just find out, because I thought, it says 1 p.m. Mountain Time on the little game of the week thing.
Really?
Yeah, Saturday 1 p.m. Mountain Time, Bozeman. Let me look also on CBS Sports and see what they're saying. They say 1 p.m. Yeah, 1 p.m.
Weird, because they were saying 12 p.m. On the kickoff when I was watching UC Davis and them.
Yeah, it's just, for years it's been 12. They've moved it to 1.
Huh. Well, this is noon on Go Griz.
Because that's where so I was just on their Twitter feed that they just put out this afternoon.
I went to gogriz.com and their football game, it says noon.
It says 1. See, everything I'm going to says 1. So weird.
Weird.
Yeah, and the page they put out today, this little guy here.
Yeah.
On Twitter, it says Saturday 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
I wonder if it got pushed back.
It may have.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's either 12 or 1. Look at your calendars to make sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it had to be a pushback because I went to Montana and the Cats and their schedules and it says noon. So it had to be pushed back.
Yeah, must have.
It had to have been pushed back an hour.
Because the Griz just put that out this afternoon.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if they didn't change their schedule and it's been like that. It's been planned for noon and maybe they had to change it.
They must have, because CBS Sports now has it at 1 p.m. as well.
Interesting.
Let me check one more just to. Now it's got me all nervous. I'll miss the game here. No, I do not want basketball. There we go. Football. Let's see what ESPN says. ESPN Plus, 1 p.m.
Okay.
Yep. So
okay. That's interesting.
For years, it's always been a noon kickoff. Yeah. So, yeah. It's funny. A lot of people ask if I was going. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to go litter box. Like I'm
No.
watching at my house. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel a lot more comfortable going to Missoula than going into someone else's arena. I don't know. I've heard some bad things.
For this one, we've heard some different things and things that happen to people's vehicles, and it's not all of them. It's just one idiot that has all those things. So, but it's going to be.
Sure that there's things have happened on the other side as well.
There is. But I mean, 123rd brawl. If we go over there, we get our 75th win. That would be awesome. I mean, we're still dominating the series, and I mean, like you said, it's been back and forth. Whoever the home team's winning it, why not change that? Like it's about time for that to change. So let's go give them one. Number 2 versus number 9. Let's just.
Are we ranked number 9 right now?
Yeah, we're 9th. So top 10 matchup, game of the week. It's gonna be one hell of a game. I mean, we owe them one at home because the last time we got the dang game day for them there and all that. They rode our coattails, to beat us, and we owe them one down there in Bozeman. So, speaking of that, I hadn't looked. I was going to check out what the weather looks like for the weekend too. Let's just take a peek here.
Well, we have questions too, guys. We have some fan questions too.
In Los Angeles. It's supposed to be cloudy and 47, high of 47, low of 34. So it's good football weather.
Good football weather, yeah.
Doesn't look like any bad weather. Now, if you're hanging around Sunday, it's supposed to be foggy on Sunday. So get there early and have a good day. But we had one of the questions was from our friend Timothy. Pratt, which we kind of answered. He had questions about that, but he also mentioned about like the refs.
Yeah.
That's what we mentioned that a little bit. It's been just brutal this year across the Big Sky.
Very inconsistent.
Like there's a few crews that I think are decent.
Yeah.
But like there's so many misses and other things. And then on top of that, like Bobby mentions this, if we're gonna do replay, let's get into replay then. Put cameras, all the cameras we need to be everywhere and do it right. So, it's just the refs have been very frustrating. And then the other one,
the targeting is just so mind blowing that you see a guy trying to make the right call and adjust, and then at the split second, which is a whole lot quicker than you're seeing it on slow-mo. Like you just can't just think that you're leaning with the head. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's the targeting rule is broken, and I mean everybody knows it, but like the refs are and I don't blame the refs at all for it because they're doing it by what the rule. Says.
The rule says by the rule. Yeah,
the rule needs to be fixed. That's the problem, and thank goodness that Ryder Meyer gets to play this whole game. Like that was
good thing it was in the first half.
No, I was like, thank God it's in the first half, and because now he at least gets to play the whole brawl. But it's just it's such a, I mean, shoot, ever since Case Cook has got that targeting against us and got tossed, I mean, it was ridiculous. we took it, but it's just like, I mean, I get the whole idea that we're trying to take that hit and spearing and stuff like that out of football for both sides, to the person receiving it and the person giving it. But this needs to be fixed. If there's no malicious intents, the bang bang play, that's different than head hunting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Our second question was from Bridger Lord at B Beam Lord. He says, how was your confidence in the Griz winning the brawl changed through the year? For me, I started at 60%, went down to about 0.05% at various points. Now I'm at 137%. Let's go.
Love it.
Griz, baby.
Hell yeah.
And then his second question was more of a question. Also, would this be the most crushing loss possible for Cat fans? Maybe if all time. Has their confidence been even higher? Have they ever been any higher? I don't. Going into a perfect season.
Yep.
I don't think
I think they're higher this time than they were in 2011 when they were number one.
Yeah, I think
they're higher now. The fact that they are undefeated, like if you probably notice this, listen to the former Griz coach on the call in UC Davis. He's not.
Oh my gosh, I cannot stand listening to him.
Oh my, it's awful.
He is such a pompous.
He's worse than Marty, and he's
just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like him and all their fans are so confident that they're going to beat us. It's sickening, you know.
It's just interesting how like he was a Griz, and then all of a sudden, and I know things happened, you know.
Yeah.
But
it turncoating. I mean, yeah. But he just, it's awful listening. And so, like, I think this weekend you're going to have both Gregor and Marty on the call. Is who it's going to be, because that's what they did last time.
Yeah, and then they had their play-by-play guy that did it last year.
Which the play-by-play guy is good.
He's fine.
He's fine. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, as far as like my percentages, I'd say like at the beginning of the season, like before the season started, I was 100%. And then as the season went along, I went like 60, 40, 30. And then like in the middle, like there was times I'm like at 0. I was like, we are not. In fact, I mentioned that before. Like when we lost to Davis and that halfway through the Portland State game, I was probably like 10%.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'd say I'm at like 81%.
Really?
That's how I feel. With that, with the confidence I think Fife can bring, the fact that we have nothing to lose and they're overconfident. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at 81. Okay. Where are you at?
So, beginning of the year, you know, I think I was probably about that 95%. You know, I'm always kind of like pessimistic, optimistic, realist kind of thing, where I'm like not 100% sure, but kind of, you know, playing it safe. Yeah. It was a hard year, man. It was a hard year. We never really put it together. So each week they kept on winning and we kept on losing or not doing very well. It kept on going down, probably from 95, you know, like you said, 60, 20. After that UC Davis, I was like, oh, there's no way. There's maybe a 5% chance.
Yeah.
At half at that Portland State game, I'm like, heck, we can't even worry about that cat, and we've got to win that cat game now to make the playoffs. You know, I'm still.
I know you. Well, you picked them. So.
I know. I'm still about 35%.
That's fine. That's fine.
To be honest with you, I just think that there's. Could we do it? Yes. Will we do it? I'm not 100%. I really am not. I see some glaring weaknesses that I need to see that we've really solidified those.
That's the thing. Is like I feel like we have not played. I mean, we haven't played a game yet.
No,
and
we have not.
If we can come out and do that, holy shit! Like this team could be really good. That's the thing we need to happen.
Exactly.
We can do that, and if Fife can be the leader that I think he can be, I think we can win.
I would love to eat my words. Don't get me wrong.
I know you would.
It kills me to not pick my Griz. I'm trying to be 100% real.
You're more the realist out of this, and I can. I'm the eternal optimist. So.
That's why it works so well on here.
Right?
Got the yin and the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all the questions. I actually had it on eGriz. Let me find it. Let's see if we had any on eGriz. I almost forgot.
Well, before you do this, I just wanted to shout out to Anthony Davis. Yeah. He got to go up, and Brooks was suited up along with Kells and Finoti and those guys. They just didn't get a chance to really play this last weekend, but we've got some good players coming up.
We do. We really do.
It's cool to see, like, and I thought it was cool too, like the broadcast was showing Brian out in the field, the stands, get to watch him. And I know I think Finoti's parents, they all came over from Hawaii. I was hoping
that's so cool.
Get in because they came up, but still just getting to see that experience, all that. And like, I mean, just I wish they had done this when we were playing the Griz Walk. That's so cool. Like, what a cool
they didn't have that back when you were doing that?
No, they didn't. We just
okay.
Nope, didn't have that. So I think that's been a cool addition for like both fans and parents. Like when I take my daughter out, she was just so pumped that certain guys were high-fiving her and stuff, and just it just helps bring the whole community close to the team. And yeah, I mean we're so fortunate to have such a great team, and just great players and just everything about it. I mean, there's so many other schools that just wish they were even a smidgen to what we have. So I'm grateful for all that, and grateful for the chance to go upset the kiddies.
Yep, totally agree. We didn't have anything on eGriz. What's up with eGriz? Come on now. Didn't have any questions.
Like this on eGriz.
Well, you know, our you don't really, the eGriz, you kind of have to, associate and kind of go back and forth, and I don't have the time to do that.
I don't either. Like I only get on there a few times a year. I'll hop on there if I like have a few extra seconds. Like obviously, the time thing is always the hard part.
The Griz fan pod, they do it like Brent's on there all the time. And,
Brent does a great job with that and his scouting reports and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I think they do a really good job about that, but I don't.
If you want to interact with me, your best spot's probably Twitter. Like I interact on Twitter. I was all over there this weekend, or Facebook Messenger. Hit me up right there. Those are probably the two best spots for me.
Yeah, I
do appreciate all the people that put comments on the Facebook or the YouTube. Yeah. Like I miss that. And sometimes I go on there like, oh, cool, and try to answer those too if we can. So,
yeah, I do a lot with Facebook and then a lot with Twitter as well at Fight on Montana, and then also with Facebook, just our personal pages. Yeah. So, guys, and that kind of goes into what we want to hear from you guys. We want to interact with you guys. We're so thankful that you guys listen to us each and every week.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing that you guys want to listen to us. And so we really take the time, and we really appreciate you guys listening. Make sure that you push and tell your friends about us. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast where you listen to it, especially on Apple. That helps us out, get us out there. If you guys want to see these beautiful mugs, you can on YouTube at wow, goodness gracious, FCS Fans Nation Network. So there's a lot of good podcasts out there as well. So get us there. But Luke, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I got one more thing. I almost forgot. So the fact that it's at Bozeman this year, a lot of people are not going to be probably going to the game because it's a hard ticket to get too.
They're sold out.
They're totally sold out. Go to www.grizalum.org or you can just search Griz satellite parties, and there's the Brawl of Wild Griz Cat tab underneath there, and you can find a watch party near you. If you want to go to a watch party, you can go on there, and they have every state in the union, and you can click on it and go to it. I used to host one. I'll admit it, I got sick of the Cat fans showing up and being idiots. So they're probably not all as big as they used to be now that they're on ESPN Plus. It all started off when we couldn't get this game, and you literally had to have a satellite if you were out of Missoula or out of the Montana broadcasting area to get the game. It is on ESPN Plus. You can watch it anywhere. But if you're looking for a good time, because the Alumni Association sends out a bunch of swag and stuff for these parties, go on there, find your state, click on it, go to one of the parties, root with a bunch of other Griz fans, and root the team on to victory. So I just wanted to give a little plug there to the Alumni Association.
And also, guys, if you guys are trying to look for tickets, a good cause, Good Old Grizzlies, the NIL, is giving 2 premium tickets to the game. So how do you enter to win? The more you donate to the Good Old Grizzlies is using the link, the better you will increase your chances of winning. You can contribute as little as 10 for 100 entries, as much as 500 for 15,000 entries.
Wow.
If you are a Good Old Grizzlies member, by November 19th, you double your entries. So don't wait. And because the game starts now. So
support that NIL and you might get some tickets.
Exactly. So definitely, if you guys are looking for tickets and you're going to try to get down there, a good way to support the NIL and get some tickets. So
heck yeah.
So they're also pairing up with Montana Roots.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, selling different swag and stuff.
Yeah. So that's
they got some good gear on there.
Do they on good old Grizzly?
Yeah, good old Grizzly. Or if you go to Montana Roots too, they have that's like the breast cancer shirt this year. That's what I got. The state of Montana pink that I got sent to me. So you can go there and they have all sorts of cool stuff. That awesome. Montana Roots stuff is awesome, by the way.
It is.
I love that they're pairing with them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, any last thoughts, man?
We just got to show up, play hard, and kick their ass.
Amen. I agree with that. I approve that message. Guys, we will see you next week, win or lose, no matter what. Thank you again for listening. And until the next time, go Griz.
FTC.
That's right.